SummerSlam 2025 is over, and in this video we're going to go ahead and rank night 1 and night 2 to determine what is the best match between both nights. My name is Sancho West, and welcome to Sancho West Wrestling, and this is my wrestling channel. If you love wrestling, be sure to sub to the channel. If you want a more in-depth review from both nights, I went ahead and made 2 videos that you can check it out on the channel. But let's go ahead and start off with night 1, and that was the opening match between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. I thought this match was a great kickoff SummerSlam match. I went ahead and give this an A. It did a great job in terms of the in-ring. It was fun. The aura of Roman Reigns being out in the daylight was special, but the aura also added to Jey Uso a little bit, having him by his side. Jey Uso had some great moments. Of course, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker did some great things as well, but the only thing is that they had their coming out later in the go-home on Monday Night Raw, and here they were just more of still serving as the henchman for Seth Rollins. Now, my only thing is I predicted that they would win. I thought it'd be a great thing for the faction to beat Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, considering that Roman Reigns won't be around, but it's a clear thing they were using it as a Money in the Bank kind of canary in the coal mine, that the Money in the Bank representation would lose that way to kind of throw off the scent of the Seth Rollins cash in later on in the night. But I'm going to go ahead and give this one an A. And the next match was the Tag Team Championship for the women's titles. This match between Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez is going to be a B. And of course, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. I still feel that the Evolution Fatal 4-Way was a stronger match. I thought we'd be able to build on that match between the rivalry between Judgment Day and Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. I did like the notes of the will they, won't they break up, the singles between Charlotte and Alexa. I like the callback between Roman Reigns and Bray. That was a cool moment with the sister Abigail and the big boot from Charlotte. And the rough housing at post-match was really cool. This was a solid B, very close to an A. And the first dud of the night, it is Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn. And the only reason why it's a dud is the booking. This entire time that Karrion Kross was being built up, that Sami Zayn was a liar, that he was always going to be a heel and things of that sort. I like the moment, the kind of twist of giving the lead pipe to Sami Zayn from Scarlett. That was cool. I like the in-ring between Karrion Kross telling Sami Zayn some things, but it's the aftermath. It's how Karrion went down. It was at the point that Karrion was wrong and that Sami Zayn literally went to him, "You're done." And it really did feel like this was Karrion's last match in the WWE, because if you don't know, is that he is still unsigned. There's rumors that he was in his contract year, contract month even. But hey, man, I don't know. I'm a big Karrion Kross fan, and I don't know where he goes. This was recorded right before Monday Night Raw, so if he has a program going forward, great. If he's resigned, even better. But still, the character of Karrion Kross feels like he has hit a dead end here. Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton for the women's title. I feel this was another one of those weird kind of situations here, considering they both started off the night really hot in night 1. Here was another kind of a misstep here, and I think the biggest thing was the match time was only 7 minutes, and Jade Cargill not being able to kick out of the prettiest moonsault. I feel like Jade Cargill was not protected here in any kind of way. And yes, they did the false finish with the rope break, with the overextending of the roll up here, rookie mistake type of thing, but Jade Cargill is a star and it has a lot of investment from the WWE and one of the biggest buys from AEW after Cody Rhodes. And I still thought that we would get the motion like at least running, and at least give Jade the belt so she can learn under fire, but still that's not the case here. Tiffany Stratton does retain. Tiffany Stratton fans have to be happy, considering that she does add prestige to the belt, and that was going to be kind of a interesting thing if you look at all the list of superstars that Tiffany Stratton has beaten. Jade Cargill being added to the list, and no doubt will be a future, maybe a Hall of Famer for Jade. I don't know where her career goes, considering that I thought this would be the moment that she'd have the belt on, considering that she went through a gauntlet, coming back from injury, attacking Naomi at the Elimination Chamber, beating Naomi at Mania, and then to fall to Tiffany Stratton here in 7 minutes. And you can't forget, she is the Queen of the Ring winner. And the next match was the biggest surprise. This is the first S-tier match of the entire SummerSlam night. It definitely is Jelly Roll and Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. I know the biggest question is, hey, what are we going to do here today? You know, Roman is busy in the earlier card. You have some big main eventers of Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre being involved in this celebrity match, but still, it was quite surprising. And I have to give the mega MVP kudos to Logan Paul. This reminded me of Money in the Bank between John Cena and Logan Paul versus Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. That match was just mid throughout the entire time, and it was only until Logan Paul did the drone splash that match kicked up a notch. And I sat on my hands fans waiting, when is that going to happen? And Logan Paul did show out, and shout outs to Jelly Roll for taking that big splash on the commentary table, and that was a huge moment, and that took this match to a PLE level, and I'm surprised that Jelly Roll took the pin. Now, if you're a Randy Orton fan, you're not going to like this match. If you're a Drew McIntyre fan, you're not going to like this match, but I do believe the pairing of Logan and Drew can go a little bit further, and maybe the feud can happen between Logan and Drew, considering that Logan Paul has been using this outsider rhetoric, and I think Drew can easily turn that around, and they could have a feud. So some good things going on, and at least Jelly Roll is down, and at least Jelly Roll, who seemingly wants to be a more serious wrestler going forward, could definitely do some more things. In the main event of night one, it is Gunther versus CM Punk. I thought this match was a solid A. It's not the best CM Punk match, and it's not the best Gunther match, and definitely it was really nice to see Gunther go through his throwback, CM Punk working underneath as old man Punk, getting chopped, getting destroyed throughout the entire night. I didn't have a problem with that. I thought the pacing of that was nice. I thought it was a very methodical match, and it was definitely a throwback to old school Gunther matches, and especially with the Sami Zayn, but I never felt that CM Punk was in trouble. I never felt that CM Punk was going to lose here. I was waiting for the moment to be resilient CM Punk, that we've seen CM Punk eat so many curb stomps to Seth Rollins, so I never felt that CM Punk's reign or his opportunity to beat Gunther would be in trouble. And the biggest black eye throughout this entire night was that Gunther literally went down so easily. He's literally standing on top of the commentary table and gets swept up underneath it. I feel that the Achilles heel of Gunther being pompous in the biggest moments does not earn the moniker of ring general, and I hate that they gave that out to Gunther and CM Punk, and then Gunther gets color, and out goes Gunther with a double go to sleep, considering that CM Punk did that with Seth Rollins. It was, it felt like it wasn't refreshing on the eyes. Now, of course, the cash in from Seth Rollins changes that entire moment and takes that match into S tier status, but as a standalone capsule match of itself, it's a solid A. Going into night two, you have the women's championship match between Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky and Naomi. Now, this match was a great match, and I'm going to give this match another A. I would say it is not as good as Roman and Jay and Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, and it's not as good as CM Punk and Gunther, but still a very solid match. And I think that the only issue with this match is it wasn't good as a triple threat at Mania between Rhea, Io, and Bianca Belair. Some great moments between Naomi here, looking very strong. I love that she was able to control the ring. I did not like the start of the faces beating up Naomi. I know the story that they're going for, that it was Naomi ruining that epic main event at Evolution, but at the end of the day, I love that Naomi came in for the steal. I love that it was still hard hitting. I love that Io went for that big power bomb on the outside and nailed Naomi with Rhea Ripley, and Rhea Ripley looking very strong throughout. It's just, for me, it's like, I wonder, where does Rhea Ripley go? Rhea Ripley keep challenging. I know she will always be in the main event. She will always be one of those superstars that could challenge at any moment. She's a walking Money in the Bank, but still, when this character keeps challenging and losing, what are you going to do? And now they definitely given out, because, Io definitely broke up the pin after the Riptide on Naomi, and she had that there. And of course, Naomi using the tights. So there's a lot of outs, and it protected everybody. But at the same time, it was kind of like we already were here before, but still, great match overall. In the TLC 2 for the six-pack ladder match, the Wyatts versus everybody, it did feel like at the very beginning, but you had Fraxium, you had Andrade, you had Rey Fenix, you had Motor City, you had the Street Profits, and you had DIY, and this was S tier. This match shocked everybody. I mean, we knew how great that it was going to be, but we did not know that it would melt my brain, melt my eyeballs and everything. This match was a car crash. This match was beautiful chaos, poetic at some times, and I did like that it actually flowed very nicely. There wasn't just spot to spot to spot. The spots flowed together. There wasn't any kind of downtime at all. This match was like only 15 minutes, and it felt like a roller coaster ride of 15 minutes. The crazy spots that not only that the 12 competitors took, but the outside characters of Candice LeRae's bump, and I like that little wrinkle of Johnny Gargano ignoring his wife's injury, B-Fab being involved, Uncle Howdy, Eric Rowan, Nikki Cross getting a pop, and you just knew that the Wyatt Six had to win. I know that there's people out there that don't like the Wyatt Six. I'm in that boat. I feel like the Wyatt Six are not a great kind of faction yet, but if you give them gold, if they turned them heel recently, those are the things that are going to give them an edge. I feel like they were just an echo of what Bray Wyatt was, and they were leaning too hard on Bray Wyatt. But if they start making moves on their own as a heel faction, and considering that they got a big dub at a major PLE, at a TLC 2 match with Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy and the Dudleys in audience, double dubs all around for the Wyatt Six, and no doubt they could take that momentum going forward. The match itself will go down as an all-timer. And the next one is the IC Women's title between Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. This one right here is an A match for me. I know the finish of Bayley getting involved could have rubbed people the wrong way, but I felt like as a trilogy of matches between Becky and Lyra, I love the furniture used to it, and I love everything about it in terms of how they were building the story and how gruesome and crazy it got. I do wish they had a little bit of color, a little bit of blood in this match. I felt like it was kind of like a weird mimic echo between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. When that didn't have any blood, you were wondering things. Now, it didn't go as extreme as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but still, the ladies definitely brought it. The only thing that I was hoping for as well at the very end was that the spot between Lyra and Becky with the handcuffs and the zip ties, it didn't really work. And I was hoping that Lyra could definitely drop the kind of ending spots once they realized that Lyra got out easily. But it's one of those things that it's hard to execute, and especially in the live setting. And definitely Lyra didn't execute that beautifully. But it's still, I love the story of them building up the whole Lyra thing. One of the biggest things I walked away with it, and I said this in my review, is that Lyra versus Becky is a grade A steak. It's already great, doesn't need that much seasoning. And this match, the WWE definitely added that PLE seasoning. You may not like the seasoning, all the furniture, and then of course Bayley getting involved and all that, but it was still really solid seasoning, and I'd still give this match an A. If you gave this match a B, I would totally understand it, and I would not argue with you. In the other surprising dud of night 2, it is Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu. There were so many red flags in this match for me. It was a cage match, is one which the cage matches have been weird. The only best cage match I remember was Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns. This one was very strange because the design of a cage match is to keep people out, and that the feud is so big that the two competitors had nowhere to go. In this match, the competitors felt like they had everywhere to go. The opening of the door, closing and opening. The big thing about Jacob Fatu saying, "I don't need to leave. I'm all gas and no brakes with it." It's like, dog, you could literally win the championship and do what you need to do afterwards if you wanted to punish Solo Sikoa. That was a strange moment. I did like the comedic moments of Solo Sikoa jumping in and out and diving for the thing. And it's okay for the heel to take the door out because that is what a heel does. And I know I just made a kind of contradicted statement about Jacob Fatu doing it, but dude, Jacob, you had the match right there. That was one of the red flags. And another red flag is, yes, the faction of the Solo Sikoa, the MFTs, got involved, and Tala Tonga gets involved, but I didn't feel Tala Tonga was a terror, right? He doesn't feel like a menace. He wasn't ripping off the door like Kane did it before, and of course, oh man, it's slipping my mind basically I didn't see a big man move, right? I didn't see like a Taker move coming up from underneath the ring. Like, I know Tala Tonga is not supernatural, but I didn't see a show of strength to buy that Tala Tonga is a force of nature. And basically it was a rinse and repeat of a lot of SmackDowns that we see, right? Jacob Fatu, Jimmy Uso, go against the MFTs, but this time the MFTs come out on top, but they don't really do anything different. They try to handcuff Jacob, and Jacob kind of waits for that spot. So there's a lot of things that were messy in this match, but I think the biggest red flag for me at the very end of this match was Jacob Fatu doing a moonsault just for the moonsault's sake of being a Samoan werewolf. Doesn't really add much to the character. And yes, you could say that he's a little bit wild out there, but it was a very dangerous spot considering that we literally saw Bronson Reed do a spot off the cage and shattered his ankles, and you try to repeat the same thing with Jacob Fatu and you risk that type of injury for a post-match beatdown of Jason Mateo and Tonga Loa. Not buying it. Unfortunately, match gets a D. Next match, you have Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles, and a tribute match, I would say, to Eddie Guerrero. I love the notion that it was the 20th anniversary of Dominic Mysterio's appearance, considering that one SummerSlam between Eddie and Rey was for the custody of Dominic Mysterio, which is a hilarious match in itself. But this match was a fun tribute match. I'll give this one a B. didn't really go too far, didn't really try to do anything different. It was fun to see the notes, the tribute band notes to Eddie Guerrero, especially with the chair, and I always pop for that. I love the return of the boot as they did with Kurt Angle versus Eddie Guerrero, and I love that, you know, AJ Styles came out and it felt like a WrestleMania entrance in the lowrider. He had the Eddie gear, that was sick. The boots were perfect, but this felt like a coming out party for Dominic Mysterio. The only thing that this match really lacked was a story. It was very surface level, it was very comedic, sure, but I wish it went a little bit deeper than AJ Styles stalking Dominic Mysterio. You could have done a little bit more to build up this match intensity, but you have to say, Dominic Mysterio beating AJ Styles, beating him in a Eddie Guerrero way, is huge for Dominic Mysterio, and I'm hoping that Dominic Mysterio takes this momentum into Triple Mania, into that Fatal 4-Way, and he walks away as a mega champion, becoming a double champion in the WWE and AAA. I think that would be awesome. Awesome milestone for Dominic Mysterio. In the final match, it's an S. I'm not going to argue it. It was the best match of the night, best match of SummerSlam. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. They tore down the house. It was great storytelling, great false finishes. Everything felt earned. It felt like a very solid street fight that didn't have too much shenanigans involved. Then the fact that it was a clean finish was amazing between John Cena and Cody Rhodes. I absolutely love the throwback to John Cena, that it was Super Cena versus Super Cody, and you felt like this was an old lion going up against the young lion, that John Cena threw everything that he knew, that there was moments, there was callbacks to previous John Cena matches. The Sunset Powerbomb was very fun, and that that smirk that he did, knowing that last time he botched it with Kevin Owens, but this time he pulled it off. It felt great, dude. It felt perfect. It felt like something that you were hoping for in a John Cena retirement. And it did feel like the end of John Cena. This was the sunsetting of John Cena's journey. And what was so interesting is going into this match was that John Cena turned babyface based on one promo and saying that he threw away 25 years for 5 months of shocking television. And I'm hoping we get more of a fallout. I wish we got a little bit more of that. I'm happy that The Rock didn't show up. I'm happy that The Rock was involved in this finish. I'm happy that Travis Scott was involved. There was a lot of moments in here. The aura farming of John Cena with the AA at the ramp was insane. And I felt like the ending was cool. And I love the sub story. And that was just John Cena. The sub story of Cody Rhodes, right? Cody Rhodes had to figure out, is he going to do the right thing? Is he going to do the wrong thing? Is he going to kind of cross the line? And I know a lot of fans thinking that there's Cody Lander out there, but in the post-match, in the post-conference, or whatever you want to call it, the post-scrum, Cody Rhodes says, I will never be that. That's not who I am. Homelander's a bad guy. And Cody Rhodes is the ultimate good guy. And I love the entrance of echoing back to his dad, Dusty Rhodes. So many good things for Cody Rhodes. And that definitely felt like a match that the torch was being passed. And that definitely earns an S tier from me. Brock Lesnar aside, that's just the crazy icing on the cake to add to the madness of SummerSlam. Really great SummerSlam. I had to really think about it, where it ranks between all the SummerSlams. Let me know what you thought of SummerSlam 2025 in the comments down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Arrivederci. A peace.